The following episode of Jordan's Soapbox contains themes that might not be suitable for viewers. This includes bonking and the Holocaust. While some of these words are censored or modified for appropriateness, we'll still be talking about them. Viewer discretion is strongly recommended.
Cyberpunk Jordan.
Jordan's Soapbox is a series supported via Patreon. If you would like to help keep the Volcano Hotel running, consider supporting it for behind-the-scenes access and other dumb rewards. Furthermore, we have a Discord server where you can hang out with me, talk about things, vote on topics, and other things that we thought were good ideas, I guess. Link to all of this in the description. And now, enjoy the show. Hello, my gummy bears. My name is Jordan, also known as CJ, and welcome back to Jordan's Soapbox, the show that talks about anything that I want to talk about. So, we recently hit 450 subscribers on this channel, and to celebrate that, I wanted to do something a bit special for Jordan's Soapbox. I wanted to cover the moment when this series hit rock bottom. The end of an era where in the 2000s, bad creative choices with Archie Sonic have reached their climax. That moment is Sonic the Hedgehog 150 and Sonic the Hedgehog 151. While not necessarily the worst, in terms of aspects like art, they're decent enough. But what they contain inside them is so horrible and so dumb, it deserves to be ripped to shreds. Figuratively, because I paid a lot of money for these. But let's start from the beginning of our tale with, Maria, that's a dinosaur. Everyone, this is Maria, my girlfriend and manager of the Jordania Volcano Hotel. She also only speaks in cat noises. Babe, I needed an image of Carl Ballers. Maria, that's more dinosaurs. Yeah, because when I said in the beginning, I meant like at the beginning of the story, not the beginning of time. Listen, we can show these nice folks your pictures of dinosaurs another time. Can we please have that image of Carl Boulders, please? Thank you very much, darling. The start of our story begins with a man named Carl Bowlers. You may not have heard of him compared to the likes of Ken Penders and Ian Flynn, but he's an equally important figure in the tapestry of Archie Sonic. He wrote some incredible stories for this comic, such as Return to Angel Island, and introduced some fan-favorite characters such as Mina Mongoose, which is probably my third favorite Sonic character, full disclosure. But he is, on the other hand, infamous for writing the issue that served as an example whenever bad creative choices needs an example with this comic, Sonic 134, where Sally slaps Sonic, ending the romantic relationship which was a core of the comic. In his defense, it's one of those bad creative choices both before and after, and not all of it was his doing. And in fact, that infamous issue was supposed to be the start of a bunch of new ideas and concepts for the series. There's an entire list of these that Bowlers himself released, such as Amy being more mature and starting a secret relationship with Sonic. Okay, look, I didn't say some of these weren't weird, but I don't know, man, I think some of them could have worked. So why then were these never implemented? I'm honestly not sure. Carl Bowlers would leave the comic with the last writing credit I found was Sonic 145. He was head writer of the comic from 1999 to 2005, along with another head writer, Ken Penders. But what does this have to do with Sonic 150-151? Well, looking through the never implemented ideas for the comic, I found a similar one to this very issue. Evil Sonic impersonates Sonic and hits on a ton of women. But it also includes elements that are not present in the final version. Specifically, Evil Sonic enjoying being a hero so much, he wants to replace Sonic forever. It's basically a story very similar to the one we have, but different. And it honestly sounds pretty cool in my opinion. My opinion is that this was an idea left on the cutting room floor after Bowlers departed, with Penders taking over for Bowlers in writing the story, since, to the best of my knowledge, he likely had this in mind for Sonic 150 and 151. If this is true, the finalized version of the story that Penders would write is infinitely worse than what Ballers intended. I mean, it doesn't matter anyway what the origins of this story is, because it still doesn't change the fact these issues suck. I want to start with the elephant in the room, which is the focus on romantic activities of Evil Sonic. We as the reader don't know, though, it's Evil Sonic yet, in Sonic 150. It takes up to me a lot of the issue with Evil Sonic impersonating Sonic and hitting on various women, which includes Mina Mongoose, Amy Rose, Bunny Rabbit, and Rouge the Bat. And honestly, that is the problem here. For Sonic 150, I expect some earth-shattering and exciting stuff, as other anniversary issues have been before. For Sonic 25, we had Metal Sonic. For Sonic 50, we had the death of Dr. Robotnik. We had something interesting for each of these issues, even if they may not have been the best. It's not that I don't think it shouldn't be an element here. Evil Sonic is a womanizing son of a It was an element of the character that was there from the start. But it is excessively the focus of this issue, and it shouldn't be, as that's not what we're here to see, and it lessens the time for actually important elements of this story. Instead, we have some seriously awkward and uncomfortable flirting between characters. To me, the most egregious of them all is Bunny Rabbit. It's a bit of a long story about how Bunny is the way she is with this issue, and we're gonna revisit that shortly. In the meantime, let's continue and— oh my gosh, what the heck? Did they? Yeah, I think they did. If it wasn't obvious, Evil Sonic and Bunny Rabbit have bonked. It is the interpretation of many others, including Bobby over on the excellent Tumblr blog, Thanks Ken Penders. It's the interpretation that I share as well. While it hasn't been explicitly stated they did bonk in this scene, the evidence to me is there, such as its time between this panel and this panel, Evil Sonic's wink to the camera as if he's just scored, etc. What's worse is that this bit about napping right here, it was likely not the original text of the scene. Closer inspection reveals the text is a different font compared to the rest of the issue. And since I get nothing but printed versions of these comics, I can physically confirm this. My belief is that something far more on the nose was intended, but at the last minute this edit was made. Perhaps this interpretation is incorrect, but it's one with evidence to me backing it, so yeah, I'm gonna say that Evil Sonic and Bunny Rabbit have bonked. I don't even know where to start with this. Words cannot describe what I feel about this scene and this issue right now. It's already wasted my time with trivial romantic stuff, and now there's this. While Penders has not explicitly stated to my knowledge the intention of the scene, he has commented about what it should represent. In a tweet to someone about the scene, he wrote the following, quote, "The bit between Evil Sonic and Bunny was to display a character that was opposite of who Sonic is. That's the point of the sequence. You're supposed to be upset that Evil Sonic is basically using his resemblance and Bunny's trust at Sonic's expense." Okay. What someone is supposed to feel and what something is fundamentally two different things. It leads into a larger issue that I've found with Penders writing for Archie Sonic. To me, poor execution of ideas and concepts. If the intention was for the reader to be upset, why was the issue not written in a way to convey that emotion easily to the reader in a clear and concise manner? Keep in mind that we as the reader do not know this is Evil Sonic yet until a couple panels later. It's been an issue I've noticed more and more with his work, with Penders having these ideas, concepts supposed to convey a certain emotion, feeling, or whatever, and the execution is so poorly done it's unable to deliver the intended result. For example, there's a poem called Then They Came For Me, which is universally tied to the memory of the Holocaust. According to Bobby over on Thanks Ken Penders, Knuckles 22 opened with a version of the poem as it addressed the techno-fascist Dark Legion rigging an election. but instead of using the normal version of the poem, or perhaps something even more fitting, it used one with Sonic species, which is highly inappropriate and unintentionally hilarious. Intentions are one thing, but they mean nothing in art if you do not execute them well. It's of course revealed after this is not Sonic, but Evil Sonic, who has been impersonating Sonic. Anyway, this is not the only switcheroo, as it's revealed that Antoine broke up with Bunny wasn't actually Antoine at all, but Anti-Antoine or Patch. Oh boy, okay, backstory time. So, for context, Sonic 134 informed us that the two were no longer dating, as Antoine had become a different person after Sonic went into space. That version of Antoine introduced by Ballers was supposed to be a very different version of the same character, according to that list, having an arc and future issues that's too lengthy to talk about here, but it involves stuff like the source of all. It was shown in an issue of Patch remembering folks that would have been unlikely to have been remembered by him. But instead of that idea, we ended up with Anti-Antoine, which, besides what I mentioned, should be impossible. The Freedom Fighters have encountered Patch before. Wouldn't they have known he was, you know, an imposter? Or was everyone stupid that day? This is so dumb, this is so dumb, I'm losing my mind, and... What's this? Oh. Thank you, darling. I needed that. Okay, we're fine now. Let's move on from this dumb twist before I really lose my mind. As I also mentioned before, Rouge is in this story, which is always good. I like Rouge. And after overhearing Knack the Weasel looking for the Chaos Emeralds, or is it Master Emerald? Yeah, it's referred to as Chaos Emeralds, but what they're looking for here is the Master Emerald. I'm not sure whether this was an error or she legitimately doesn't know it's the Master Emerald, but either way, she and Evil Sonic end up joining forces to steal it. Finally, something is happening in this comic. The problem is, we're actually on 151, but still, I'll take what I can get. Another thing happening in this comic is Sonic on Moebius dressed up as Evil Sonic, where the anti-freedom fighters beat the living snot out of him before Sonic beats the snot out of them. It ends up being a fun diversion that doesn't really last too long, but it's still darn fun. It ends with Sonic clearing up the confusion and returning to Moebius, which conveniently is in time for Rouge and Evil Sonic to steal the Master whatever you call it. Or as the latter says, grab the booty. I'm sorry, some of these panels have not aged particularly well. Then again, I can say that about the entire issues. Speaking of not aging well, Rouge distracts its guardian Locky by kissing them. That was me puking, but you didn't see any vomit come out of my mouth. Okay, look, I understand it's a common trope for the attractive woman to serve as a distraction, but Rouge is 18 according to Moebius Encyclopedia, and Locky is implied to be very old from one of these panels. It's once more another example of an idea concept not executed well, which, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, some of these ideas and concepts should never have been really implemented to start with. It leads to unintentional results. This time of me wanting to take a shower because, ugh. Anyway, elsewhere, we are now treated to something that is the climax of this tale of misery, and that's Evil Sonic versus Sonic. I have to admit, it is the highlight of these two issues. It's a fun fight between the two hedgehogs that are so similar at times you can't tell the difference between the two. Locky, who realizes Rouge was a diversion after a while apparently, just ew, ends up coming across the fight and figuring out that the one that's the real Sonic is the one not using the weapon. Don't worry, Locky, Sonic is going to be using weapons in just a couple years. It ends with Sonic heading back to Knothole, and all is finally well with this tale, right? No. We have to have Sonic hit on by Amy Rose, which on any other day, I would tell you, it's cute. But seeing just the events of this issue, plus Amy's dialogue here, is just icky and wrong. Not to mention Bunny soon after, just, ugh, I'm done. And despite what this text bot claims, to my knowledge, few of the events that transpire in this issue were ever resolved. Whew. Poor Mina, poor Amy, poor Bunny, poor Sonic, poor you. I feel legitimately sorry for anyone who read Sonic 150-151 back in the day. It's the textbook example of everything wrong with this comic back then. Bad creative choices, too much focus on romance instead of action-adventure, and a writer who overstayed his welcome with inserting ideas and concepts either unable to convey those ideas that could be appropriate for Sonic, or were never appropriate to start with for Sonic. It may not be the worst issue of this comic, as it does have competent art for instance, but it certainly is to me when this series hit rock bottom. Future issues would not be much better, especially Sonic's Angels, which is a whole other deal. And until Ian would take the reins of the series, it was dead as a doorknob. Sometimes I imagine what it would be like without this issue existing, because certainly it would benefit society if none of these issues existed. But then I wouldn't be the Sonic and Sega fan that I am today. Because, well, I started reading this comic with Sonic 151. Yep, this terrible, awful issue that I've just spent this video railing against. Yeah, that's my first issue. I remember so distinctly the day it happened. Every summer my family would visit Minersville in Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania. An unlikely place if you've ever heard of it. A town in the heart of coal country. There was a mall there, aptly named Schuylkill Mall, the epitome of dead malls even back then. But it had a Walden Books, and while my dad perused for business books, I sat by the comic book rack and reached for Sonic 151. I had seen the character in Sonic Heroes of the McDonald's PlayStation, remember those? But I knew nothing about him. So I read it, and, well, I became obsessed with it. When I was a kid, it didn't matter if it was awful. It's the reason why I love Sonic. It's the reason why I like Evil Sonic. It's the reason why I love Sega and its various games like Crazy Taxi, House of the Dead, and just so many others. That all started here, with that issue. It's not to excuse any of the criticism that I've heaped upon it, but honestly, I can't burn this thing with fire because it's always going to be kind of special for me due to that fact. Perhaps that in certain cases, bad media can inspire good things to come out of it. And I think that's kind of my thesis statement when it comes to doing Archie Sonic stuff. At times, they represent the worst kind of media this blue blur has ever appeared in. But, on the other hand, it also represents moments of brilliance and wonder and why this blue blur can work in comics so well. It was certainly enough for me to start reading the series, and that's why I like covering it, and will continue to do so as much as I can. Because the main thesis here is that both good and bad can exist with Archie Sonic. And to me, there actually is no better example than Sonic 150 and 151. I saved one element of this tale for the last, and that's the secondary stories. Sonic 150 is Nevermind. But Sonic 151 was the debut issue of Nicole the Lynx. It was here where Tiana Del Rio, who honestly should be called the mother of Nicole, she's earned it, would breathe new life into an existing character that would move into a favorite character for the rest of the series. Fantastic bookend to one of the worst stories this comic has to offer. That's Archie Sonic in a nutshell. And God, do I love it. Thanks for all the support with this entire series and just everything. I really do appreciate it more than any of you could possibly know. And here's to many more videos about the Blue Blur and the company that makes them. Until next time, I'm Jordan from Jordan's Soapbox. Hey, thanks so much for visiting the Jordania Volcano Hotel and Resort today. We hope you'll stop by again real soon. If you like this video, consider liking the video, or even better, subscribing and ringing the bell so you'll know when we call you back down here again. Follow us on social media too in order to keep up with us. Until we meet again, safe travels out there.